Hello everyone, how are you? So I've not done one of these before and I thought that I would give it a whirl. Thought I'd do a get ready with me while I'm on holiday. So we are currently just outside Paris, staying in a lovely house that we found on Home Exchange, and it is the most beautiful house. When my husband said he'd managed to find us a house to stay in so that we could go to Disneyland Paris with the kids, I set the bar quite low in terms of my expectations. I really didn't think it was going to be that good, but it's gorgeous. So this is currently the main bedroom that I'm getting ready in. It has a bath in the bedroom, which I've had this morning, and it was very nice. And yeah, here we are. We've had 4 days in central Paris in an apartment, which again we found through Home Exchange, and that was gorgeous. It was in a location on the outskirts of Paris called Hoche, or Hoche as they say in French, and we've had the best time in central Paris with the kids. We went up the Eiffel Tower at dusk and we got to see the lights come on at 10, and we went right to the top, and I'll insert some clips, but it was really magical. And I drank champagne at the very top, obviously, have we met? And it was just one of those kind of memories that you know we're always going to have forever. It was really special. We also walked up to the top of the Arc de Triomphe, which is not for the faint-hearted, but again, amazing views and an amazing experience to do with the kids. And yeah, so day 1 and 2, we did about 22,000 steps, which according to ChatGPT is equivalent to 10 to 11 miles a day. So, oh my word, was I tired. So not yesterday, the day before, we had more of a relaxed day. I took the kids and my husband to Montmartre and the Basilica, because they hadn't been there before. And we walked up to the top of the steps and saw the beautiful Basilica Church. And then we came down and had lunch in Montmartre and a little browse through the gorgeous shops. And then we walked to the Moulin Rouge, just because I wanted the kids to see it, really. Which was an interesting walk because it takes you through the red light district, which I hadn't kind of thought about. But anyway, I mean, you know, it's all an experience. And, you know, I did explain to the children about the whole Baz Luhrmann film and that it was based on the fact that back in the day that the courtesans would perform in the Moulin Rouge, and obviously the bigger the performer, the more beautiful, the more expensive she was as a courtesan. So I guess it's all part of French culture. And we did say that we would love to come back when the kids are older and actually take them to see the Moulin Rouge show, because yeah, I think that would be an amazing experience. I was really just sad to see, actually, there used to be an amazing show on the Champs-Elysees in the Lido. And it closed at the end of last year, and it's now more musicals, which is such a shame, because the show that I saw on the Champs-Elysees years ago, probably 15 years ago now, was incredible. It had an ice rink that came up on the stage, it had a horse that came up and danced, it had obviously a set-built aeroplane that came in that the dancers came out of. It was just one of those memories that I would love to have taken the children to, obviously when they're a bit older. Sienna's 13, Tristan's 14, about to be 15, but still too young at the moment. But anyway, it's closed, it's now musical, so I guess we'll just have to wait for the Moulin Rouge when they turn 18 and get saving the pennies, because Paris is not cheap. Although, saying that, we were really worried about how much all of this was going to cost, which is one of the great things about doing the Home Exchange, is that it means we haven't had to pay for accommodation. But obviously we were just super worried about like just paying to eat out a lot. But I have to say, central Paris, I mean, you can't say it's cheap, but it's not anywhere near as expensive as London. And to be honest, I would say it's really comparable to where we live in Bournemouth in terms of like eating out. It really wasn't that different. and you're sitting right by the Eiffel Tower or right by the Louvre in the Tuileries Garden. So, you know, you kind of think, well, I don't mind paying that because it's really not that much money. So yeah, there we are. So don't be scared of central Paris and eating out, because honestly, it's definitely not as expensive as London. And also, FYI, Parisians, they're all so much nicer than I was expecting. They're just lovely. I don't know if we've got lucky or whether in my memory they were grumpier, but I've given it my best GCSE French while I've been here, and the kids have been quite impressed. The only depressing thing was when we went into Ralph Lauren, I went in and went, "Oh, hello, s'il vous plaît." The lady went, "Oh, men's are downstairs." So I was like, perhaps my French is not quite as good as I thought. But yeah, we just had the best time. We did go into some of the designer shops. We went into the La Samaritaine department store, all a little bit out of our budget, but you know, it was amazing to see and experience all those amazing bags and goods. I think Tristan, my son, has definitely got the same bougie taste that I've got, because he spent his whole time going, "Ooh, could we go and have a look at another designer shop?" To which I was like, "Well, we can, darling, but we haven't really got the money to buy anything, but you can look." And I have to say again, the people in the shops, they were so nice. I mean, I was really polite. I always said, "Is it okay if we just look around? My son would love to see some of your designs." And they were so lovely. They were like, "Absolutely, it's free to look, come on in. Let us know if you need anything, otherwise just make yourself at home." They were really lovely. So don't ever be intimidated, because ultimately you may not have the money to be able to go and buy loads of designer clothes, but one day maybe you will, or maybe you can save up. And the people that work in these shops, they're basically the same as us. So I think as long as you're polite and you don't like cause them loads of work and hassle, then I think they're more than happy to let you browse. And it was funny actually, because my husband Martin, bless him, he's not known for spending money on his clothes, but even he was appreciating the fact that you can tell the difference between kind of high street, man-made, sometimes plasticky made clothes, and the good quality of the cottons and the linens that the designer shops obviously use, and the cashmeres. And I did say to him, you know, there's a lot to be said for it, because we've become this fast fashion world and we're destroying the planet with how much cotton we're all using. So there's a lot to be said for buying less but buying quality, and just really looking after your clothes and taking care of them. So yeah, it was really lovely in Paris. What else did I do? Oh, I went to the Galerie Dior, which is incredible. If you're not into fashion, it probably wouldn't be your jam, but obviously I did a fashion degree back in the 90s. And so for me, you know, I grew up with John Galliano, and it was interesting actually, because when I looked around the gallery, I always knew when it was his designs, and I knew the Anderson designs as well. I was like, yeah, I recognise his. But to see the story of Dior, and I knew a lot of it anyway from watching the Yves Saint Laurent film, but it was just incredible to see his inspiration from nature and the way they display the clothes. Again, I'll insert some clips for you because it is incredible. And the way they display the clothes, like in a garden with the sort of in darkness with lots of foliage coming from the ceiling, it was insane. Again, some of the designs that have been inspired by the Parisian architecture. That was in a dark room with the Parisian skyline, and the main stairwell that takes you up to the third floor is just full of the wall of handbags and accessories, and it's all rainbow coloured. If you've seen The Devil Wears Prada second film, it's the same as the one that Emily is in when she's chatting to Andy. So yeah, it's amazing. So if you like fashion, definitely do that. I spent 2 hours there, and it was well, I loved every minute. The kids and my husband didn't come, but they also had a lot of the original artwork and a lot of the original bottles for when they started perfume. And again, that was amazing to see, just the thought behind those bottles. I took quite a few pictures to show my colleagues that I work with in boots, because I have some lovely colleagues who work on Dior and I know they would love to see a lot of those designs and those bottles. Yeah, that was really good fun. We also went to the Musée d'Orsay. I've been to the Louvre before, and I know that the Louvre is quite big and quite intimidating, and it's so hot at the moment. It's 37 degrees today, so I just thought the Louvre is going to be too busy and too hot to walk around. So we decided to go to the Musée d'Orsay, which was a lot cooler. It was air conditioned, and we went to the cafe at the top on the 5th floor, which I can definitely recommend. Again, it wasn't that expensive. I mean, it wasn't cheap, but the kids had an ice cream each and my husband and I had a cup of tea. I think it was 30 euros. So yes, not cheap, but the view, we sat right by the clock. Again, I'll insert a clip. The cafe was lovely, and we just after that walked around the top floor, which is all on Impressionism, focused particularly on Van Gogh and Renoir and Gauguin, and obviously Monet. And to see the Monet paintings, and particularly the water lilies, was brilliant, because we'd been to see Claude Monet's garden en route to Paris on Sunday. So to see that Giverny water lily pond brought to life and the boats that we'd seen, I think it really brought it to life for the kids. So I'm really glad we did that bit of culture, because we're going to be going to Disneyland, which is perhaps not so cultural. So just started with an extra long face massage, because I haven't done it for a couple of days, using my new face massager. I've talked about this before. It's really good. I'm desperately trying to extend the time period between me having had Botox and needing my next lot of Botox, which I desperately need, but particularly the jowls, I'm desperately trying to massage and keep that up. Next, I'm going to use a little bit of the D'Alba facial serum. So nice and hydrating. And just because more is more, and I'm going in with a bit of the Core6 serum, which apparently, if you use it first, helps other serums absorb more effectively. But my skin is so dry at the moment, I'm really enjoying using the D'Alba hydrating serum first, and then taking my time to massage this in. So I have been having some makeup free days on holiday. Yesterday, when we moved from central Paris to this house, I didn't bother putting makeup on, and it was really nice. And it's so hot at the moment that actually just wearing skincare is just nice, and not having to wear makeup, particularly because I have to wear makeup all the time at home as a makeup artist. It's quite nice not to have to do that, but always wear skincare. So next, I'm going in with my Bobbi Brown hydrating eye cream, and as I said, my skin's quite dry because it's so hot. So we're in and out of air conditioning. We've been traveling on the metro, some of which is air conditioned actually, however some of which isn't, so that was flipping hot. So yeah, I'm slapping on the cream because my skin does feel quite dry and quite dehydrated, and it is amazing how much you can drink in this heat. What is good about Paris actually, that they should do in London, is they have loads of points where you can refill your water bottles that are free just on the street. So yeah, we just drank masses, and that was good, but you just couldn't drink enough. It was so flipping hot. But playing the glad game, at least we got to see all of the sights in glorious sunshine and take the most amazing pictures and videos. And yeah, the view from the Eiffel Tower was insane. We got to watch the eclipse from our Paris apartment. So in a way, although it's been really hot, we haven't had to worry about clouds or rain. We've just seen the best of Paris. and just, yeah, incredibly lucky. Oh, I just went in with my Bobbi Brown face base. Because I'm on holiday, and although I'm not massively sunbathing, we're obviously out and about a lot. I'm going to use my Bobbi Brown Factor 50 primer on my face, and I'll put sun cream on the rest of my body. When I'm on holiday, I tend to use Ultrason sun cream in the morning before we go out, and then I just take a top up spray just to top up while we're out. I don't wear a hat. I did bring 2 hats, but I just feel such a wally when I wear a hat. They just don't suit me. So unless I'm on the beach, if I'm going around the city, I just don't wear a hat because I just feel like a lemon. Anyway, what I love wearing on holiday is my Bare Minerals foundation, because it's just really quick, really easy, and it also does have a bit more SPF in it. It has Factor 15, which is always good, but it's just easy, and I can just whop it on basically and not have to worry too much. So yeah, basically swirly whirly, on it goes, and it just takes away that redness from my skin, which I like. And hopefully you can see that is quite a difference. But it's funny because a lot of my colleagues that I work with at Boots, because I work part-time on a counter for Bobbi Brown, a lot of the young Boots beauty specialists and some of the other counters, they sort of, oh God, I hate Bare Minerals, you know, I hate that powder and having to colour match. But actually, I find it one of the easiest foundations to use, because you literally, it's quite forgiving. So even if you get the colour slightly wrong, like this is shade 2, and technically this is my winter shade, but I think because they're quite forgiving minerals, actually your skin tone kind of comes through a bit anyway. So even if it is a little bit pale or a little bit dark, you can kind of buff it in, and it's quite forgiving. So I'm going to use a colour corrector next, just because I've always got those pesky dark circles. This one is Charlotte Tilbury in Fair 1. Magic Vanish. It's kind of nice sometimes just to do a colour corrector if you want that kind of no makeup like I'm on holiday and I don't really feel like using a lot. It's a good option. I've just realised I haven't got my makeup brushes, so I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to come back with my makeup brushes. Okay, I'm back. Going in with a little bit of the Bare Minerals Warmth. Actually, this one is Faux Tan. This is the lighter shade, and you really don't need a lot, and you need to buff it in quite a bit. But once you've buffed it in, what I do is I put it on with like this bronzing brush, and then I go back in with my original kind of Bare Minerals buffing brush, just to make sure I don't have any patches, which you can sometimes get. And then I take a little bit on my eyes as well, just because it's hot and we're out and about and I'm not really going for a full makeup look. I just don't want to look like death. That's how I'm looking at the moment. And then I'm just going to go in with my original buffing brush and just make sure that's all blended. Perfect. I think that's okay. Okay, blusher. Using a very old Charlotte Tilbury palette, which is actually smashed between Central Paris and here in the car. Bit annoying. Luckily it's quite old. I'm just going on with the pinky colour for that. And then I am going to, what am I going to use next? A tiny bit of my Bobbi Brown. This is really nice actually. If you've seen these when you this summer. And they're just nice. You can take them in here to contour. I'm not going to bother today. But if I had more time I would. But yeah, they're just nice to add a bit of contour and a bit of warmth. And they're very natural. And then I just blend that out. Powder. I don't like using huge amounts of powder, but because it is so hot, I do need to use powder to set under my eyes and around my T-zone, because otherwise I will look really shiny. And I now can't find my little brush. Where's my little brush gone? I'm going with my big brush. I can't find my little brush. That's the only thing I haven't loved about moving from the Parisian apartment to the house that we're in, is packing and unpacking twice and getting to kind of know 2 different places. That's been a bit, you know, annoying, but I'm not being ungrateful, because actually to have a holiday like this in an apartment and a house that we've been able to stay in is insane. And like I say, because it's been home exchange, it hasn't cost us any money, apart from the fee that you pay home exchange every year, which is £100 or so. It's not very much. And the Parisian apartment did ask for €40 to contribute towards the cleaning when we left, and you know, that's fair enough, we did that. But actually this house that we're in, they haven't asked for a cleaning fee. Obviously we have to be respectful and take rubbish out and take our rubbish out and, you know, make sure we don't cause a mess. But they even left us, it's so sweet, they left us a bottle of rosé to say welcome to our house, which was just so nice of them. Sandwash pink lipstick, Bobbi Brown. I do wear quite a lot of Bobbi Brown because, like I said, oh, there's my little brush. I work on counter 3 days a week. So I always did have Bobbi Brown in my kit, in my professional kit for my clients. I always have had face base. And face base eye cream as a base, and I've got the BBU palette for foundations and concealers, and I did have some of their foundations, although I've run out of those, so I need to restock those. And then on myself I've always used face base, but obviously now I'm working on a makeup counter. One of my perks of my job is I do get a discount, which is nice, so I have been gradually adding to my little collection of Bobbi Brown goods, which is nice. So I'm going to use one of their nice creamy eyeshadow sticks as an, oh, you can't see me, as an eyeliner. And I'm going to take that underneath, a little bit of shadow, and on top. Sorry, you can't really see what I'm doing, but I'm basically scribbling it on like a crayon. There's not really much technique, just to give my eyes a little bit of definition. And that colour I think was taupe. Where's my glasses? What was that colour? Yeah, that was taupe. And then I'm going to use a teeny bit of espresso just to add a little bit of definition on the edge of my lower eyelashes and on the top lashes. And it looks a hot mess right now, but I'm just going to smudge it, basically. That's what I like about these sticks. I have to say, these are amazing. I hadn't tried these until I got my job at Bobbi Brown. I started mid-April, and these are like the best-selling item, and I totally understand why. Because I'd used the Laura Mercier ones, the Caviar Sticks by Laura Mercier, but I hadn't tried these. And they are, I would say, better. They're creamier. And once they've dried down, you've got playtime, like I'm doing now, you can smudge them. But once they've dried, they literally will last 24 hours or until you take them off. Not that you'd want to keep it on for 24 hours, but if you did, if you were flying to Australia, then you can. So yeah, perfect. A little bit of mascara. Actually, I might just put some setting spray on now, using the good old all-nighter travel size from Urban Decay. An oldie but a goodie, does the trick. This is the smudge proof mascara, which they've stopped doing, but I flipping love it. This is Bobbi Brown. Actually, I did have this in my kit. This is nice. This does not smudge, but they've stopped doing it for some reason. I don't know why. So I will probably, when this is used up, go back to using my tubing mascara. And I really like the tubing mascara by Revolution Pro. They're really good. They do them in black, brown, and like a plummy maroony colour. and because they're tubing, they don't smudge. So unfortunately, unless I wear waterproof or tubing mascara, it just ends up round here. I've got, I think, quite oily lower eyes, and I don't like wearing waterproof all the time because it can be quite drying on your eyelashes. So yeah, hey ho, first world problems and all that. So all I need to do now to be finished is a little bit of eyebrow. And I am by no means going for perfection here. This is just literally, we're going to Disneyland. I just need to look vaguely respectable because, you know, we'll be taking pictures and I don't want to look horrific. So I just really want to even out skin tone. So I'm just going to use my Anastasia Brow Wiz brow pencil and just add a little bit of eyebrow. Following my kind of natural brow growth and then extending it a little bit here because I think it needs a little bit more towards the nose, and then just making it a little bit deeper, particularly on the arch, just to kind of frame my face. And I always, for some reason, I think I've had too much coffee, go a bit wobbly. So I'll just rub out the bits where I've gone a bit wobbly. And then this eyebrow, it's really annoying, doesn't grow nearly as much as the other one. So I have to kind of draw quite a lot more hair on this side, just so it matches the other side. And there we go. Yeah, that's all right. I think just having looked at myself, I think I do look a bit shiny, so I'm going to put a bit more powder on. And I might just put a bit of blue eyeliner. This one's MAC in shade is this? It's Colour Excess Perpetual Shock Gel Eyeliner. This one's really good actually. I quite like putting it in my waterline, especially when I'm wearing this shirt. This shirt I got in the sale from Primani. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, but it was literally a couple of pounds, I think. It was in the sale. It's too big for me, but I actually don't mind because it's so hot. It's actually really nice to have it oversized and you just kind of tie it at your waist. So yes, I do like wearing it. So I'm just going to put a little bit more powder on because I do feel a bit sweaty. And then I've got a little travel-sized D'Alba spray that I carry in my handbag, which I use to cool myself down, but it also just freshens up my makeup when we're out and about. So yeah, by no means is this perfection. But this is my makeup when I'm on holiday, and have been in Paris, and now I'm obviously heading to Disneyland Paris. So yeah, let me know what you think. I've been Nikki Mallard. I am a hair and makeup artist based in Bournemouth, currently on holiday in Paris, if you didn't get the memo, and I look forward to seeing you all in my next video. Thanks so much for watching.